There's a temple in the Himalayas that no one can find. And it breathes.
In the mountains of the north, where the air grows thin and the forests grow dark, there is a temple. Not the kind of temple you have seen in pictures, not the kind with golden spires and crowded courtyards. This temple has no priests, it has no schedule, it has no door, and yet it breathes. The Skanda Purana, one of the largest and most mysterious of the 18 great Puranas, speaks of it only once. In a single chapter, buried among thousands of verses about pilgrimage sites and divine battles, there is a passage. A passage so strange, so specific, and so unlike anything else in the text that scholars still debate whether it was ever meant to be read at all. The passage describes a Shivalinga, not one carved by human hands, not one placed by ancient kings, a linga that was never made, a linga that simply appeared. It appeared, the text says, when Shiva closed his eyes. According to the verses, during the great dissolution of the cosmos, the pralaya, Shiva withdrew all of creation back into himself. And when the universe was gone and only he remained, a single drop of his consciousness fell to earth. That drop became the linga, and it breathes. Not in metaphor, not in poetry. The text is disturbingly literal. Inhale, it says, and the linga expands. Exhale, and it contracts. One breath for every cycle of the worlds. One breath equals one kalpa. One kalpa equals 4.32 billion years. Now, if you are thinking what I am thinking, that this sounds like a story, a myth, a piece of beautiful religious poetry, you are right to think so. But there is something else in the text, something that makes this story different from every other divine tale, something that has haunted anyone who has ever read these verses carefully. The Skanda Purana gives directions, not exact directions, not coordinates, not an address, but a sequence of clues, a path, a trail of breadcrumbs scattered across 1,000 verses. Where the river bends north but flows south, where 3 peaks stand as one, where the sound of a bell cannot be heard, even when it rings. These are not metaphors, these are landmarks, and they describe a very real part of the Himalayas. For centuries, sadhus and seekers have traveled into those mountains looking for this temple. Most came back with nothing. Some did not come back at all. But a few came back with stories. Stories of finding a cave. A cave that is not on any map. A cave that seems to open when you are not looking for it, and close when you are. Inside, they say, there is a light, not a flame, not a torch, a light that has no source. And in the center of that light, a shape that changes. Now we come to the strangest part of all, the part that is almost never discussed, the part that the Purana itself only hints at in its final, most cryptic verse. The linga cannot be seen by everyone. In fact, the text says something quite extraordinary. It says that the linga is visible only to those whose minds are pure. And pure here does not mean good. It does not mean virtuous. It does not mean holy. It means still, a mind without desire, a mind without fear, a mind without a single thought. To such a mind, the linga appears, and it breathes, and you can feel it. Not with your eyes, not with your ears, with something deeper. To any other mind, there is nothing, just a cave, just a dark, empty space, just silence. This is why the temple has no priests. This is why it has no door. This is why it has never been found in any archaeological survey. Because you cannot find it. It finds you. Or rather, it reveals itself only to those who are already inside it and do not yet know. Now there is a question that naturally arises here, a question that I am sure many of you are asking. If only pure minds can see it, then how do we know it exists at all? The Purana gives an answer so simple and so profound that it changes everything you think you know about this story. It says the linga is breathing even when no one is watching. It inhaled before humans existed. It will exhale long after we are gone. The fact that we cannot see it does not mean it is not there. It means only that we are not yet the kind of beings who can. And this, perhaps, is the real secret of the story. Not that there is a hidden temple in the mountains, not that there is a linga that breathes, but that there is a part of every one of us that is the temple, a part that breathes, a part that is already divine, a part that we cannot see, only because we have not yet learned to look correctly. The Skanda Purana does not tell you where the temple is.